Namaste, my friend. Today we will understand how to change the mind to destroy anxiety, suffering, and it is known as the karma yoga. Do we want to live in peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom? Obviously, yes. So when we constantly live in that state of peace and happiness, truth, love, and wisdom, it is known as awakening. Does awakening takes place inside or outside? Ask yourself. Be very clear. Today is a very interesting topic for you. Does awakening takes place inside or outside? Does anything happens to the world by my awakening? I am awakened. Now I am in peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Okay? Now you are dealing with your relations and the people outside. Because you are awakened, does other will also respond in the same way? No. It is your personal evolution. You recognize and realize your nature. Then what happens? What happens actually? The way we think, speak, and act, the way we respond to the outer world changes. So how do you respond and how do you think, speak? From the same mind. So our mind has undergone a total transformation. It does not mean that I'm awakened inside and the other guy is a crazy guy, he always criticizes me, he will stop criticizing me. My attitude changes because we do not see any conflict, anxiety, duality, problem, pain in the world that can affect us. We experience the sense of freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from the suffering. Freedom from the suffering, my friend. Understand it clearly. It is very important for us to understand. We should not keep any kind of intellectual fantasy. So are you clear? Does anything happen to the world by our awakening? So the answer is no, and answer is also yes. So first we have understood the answer no. Now we should understand, yeah, how? Yes, then how? Because you constantly live in peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom, because you think, speak, and act out of that, because your behavior and attitude has changed, because you have dropped all your expectations from the world, what happens? You don't receive any form of stress and anxiety, duality, and conflict from others. Then what happens? You are constantly living in peace and happiness. Let the world continue the way it is living. Are you getting it? But then how come you say that we are affected by the others? Because of expectations. As long as we receive, we want to receive from the world what we like. We do not want to receive what we dislike. That has created such a strong imprint in the mind. The mind has become habitual and instinctive and impulsive, and every day it wakes up in the morning with a particular thought. Oh, that guy did this. He is a wonderful guy. Or that second guy did this. I don't like him. And now they both approach you You are filled with expectation, emotional dependence, anxiety, and frustration. That causes the anxiety. Or should we not keep any expectation? We will understand that. Be very clear. So if we do not keep any psychological expectation, you order food from a food store and the guy knocks the door and he said, you should expect when this guy is coming. I should expect love and affection, right behavior and attitude. No, not possible. We don't know. We don't know how the next person, in what situation they will react, their attitude. Are you getting it? Two things, yes and no. So when I say yes, when I am awakened to that peace and happiness, I have no expectations of praise, appreciation, likes and dislikes, then my mind is free. So mind is the home of both. Mind is the home of receiving and giving. So the moment I have an expectation that you should praise me and appreciate me, I have created an expectation. And you will never be happy even if I appreciate you hundreds of times, because it is psychological. So understand, mind is the home of both. Mind, when it is awakened to the real nature, becomes the home of peace, happiness, love and wisdom. So instead of expectation, we keep a clear understanding and a wisdom not to be affected by it. We are understanding step by step. So now second question comes, where lives the anxiety, problem, suffering, peace, happiness? They live in the mind. Yes, they live in the mind. How? Because of memories of the past. Memory also means desires. Desires means expectation, and expectation is caused by the likes and dislikes, manifest as sorrow and the joy, creates hatred and the love, and then I get upset. Are you getting it? Let us understand it again in a clear way. First thing, that mind contains both. What? If we are awakened, the mind constantly lives in peace, happiness, love, truth and wisdom. Clear? Now if it is not awakened, then mind has to pick up everything from the memory, from the past. And now that memory in the past, thoughts, we claim that we are thinking, but actually it happens because of the non-thinking. How it happens? Because of the non-thinking, because of the memory. What contains in the memory? The expectations from the world outside. What expectation causes? It causes the desire. And the desire has the likes and dislikes. So mind, inner mind, is already ready to receive an event for anxiety, stress, duality, conflict and problem. So I'm already prepared. Every day in the morning I am prepared for that. And that is why I have those problems. Are you understanding? If I live in peace and happiness, love and wisdom, will the mind be experiencing anxiety? You want to give me the stress, but I am not ready to accept it. What will happen? That is the problem we are having. And we every time you forget, what happens? Every time you forget, you also forget the practices, you also forget the memories of the beautiful experiences you have had. So let us go a little deeper. So do we really understand the state and attitude of the mind causes suffering? Attitude. Attitude and the behavior of the mind. Because we are living in ignorance of the real nature. Ignorance means incomplete understanding of who we are. I have repeated hundreds of times that every human being, every living species is searching for peace and happiness. Is it not true? Why they are searching for peace and happiness? Why they are not searching for stress and suffering? Because our nature is peace and happiness. That's why whatever is our nature, that is what we are going to search. The sugar is always sweet. That is its nature. Can you say the sugar is salty? So our masters teaches us that the behavior or the mental state and the attitude, either it is governed by the wisdom, the right knowledge, and or it is dictated by the ignorance. If it is dictated by the ignorance, means what? I have an expectation. When I have an expectation, the ego is born. First there is an ignorance, then there is the ego, then the likes and dislikes, then the desire, then expectations. What is the result? Sorrow and the joy, hatred and love, anxiety, duality, conflict. So when the ignorance is gone, then all these are gone. And then what happens? This mind starts living with the inner resources of peace and happiness. I believe you have understood up to this point, and if you did not, you have to listen to it again and again. So we have reached to a state that we want to get rid of all our anxiety, duality, conflict, and then we realize that both peace and happiness, love, truth and wisdom, and anxiety, duality, conflict, problem and the suffering, both live in the mind. Now the mind, in the absence of the peace and happiness, what it has to do? It has to dig deep inside from the memory. Memory, past experiences where we acted impulsively, instinctively, without knowing it. So what is the result? The result will always be anxiousness, duality and a conflict. So we have two choices now. The first choice, mind thinks, speaks and acts with the memory, past experiences, likes and dislikes, full of expectation. Result will always be reaction, anxiety and duality. Even when someone is praising us, we feel a sense of anxiety, but that anxiety is supposed to be positive. Why you need an appreciation from others? Why don't you feel a sense of peace and calm, independent of anything outside in the world, including the relations, whether the relations appreciate me or do not? Mind lives with the peace, happiness, love and wisdom. When the mind lives with the expectations, my friend, always thinking of receiving. What does it mean by expectation? That I'm always thinking in terms of receiving from you, receiving from people, receiving from relations, receiving from your pets. Expectation means receiving. My mind is fully saturated to receive. You come to me and your mind is ready to receive the appreciation. And if I do not talk of that, I do not talk and I do not give what you want to receive due to the expectation, you are upset. Why don't you think of giving instead of receiving? Why don't you think of giving without any expectation, without receiving? Make your mind free from all the ideas and the thoughts and expectations, so that the mind drops the mode of receiving. It is in a receiving mode. Receiving mode is caused by my past memories, my expectations, my desire, my likes and dislikes. And giving mode? Giving mode is full of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Are you in a giving mode of sadness? Are you in a giving mode of anxiety? Are you in a giving mode of reaction? What has happened? We destroy our mind. We destroy ourselves. It causes a lot of challenges in our life. Did you understand that? So what is the solution? Solution is how to change the mind to always give. How to change the mind so that it becomes a giving nature instead of a receiving nature. Why? Because if I focus on the giving nature, I have to think, speak, and act in peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Are you getting it? So what happens? Your mind never even dreams and thinks of receiving psychological inputs like appreciation, praise. So what happens? Likes and dislikes will not exist. When the likes and dislikes do not exist, what happens then? Mind is always free. Mind is never busy. Mind is never crazy. Mind is never erratic. When you are clear about the receiving and giving, that both happens in the mind. If you have always the giving attitude, when you all have that giving attitude all the time, and you also receive, because whatever you give, you receive the same. So you don't focus on receiving even when you always receive, but your focus in the mind while living in the world is of giving nature. What to give? Give peace, give money, no. Giving of peace and happiness, so that it keeps your mind always in peace. It gives a break to a receiving attitude of the mind. That is the subject of today, which is classically it is known as the karma yoga. Karma means action. Yoga means a state of the mind, a proper attitude. Are you listening to me? Yes. With what attitude you are listening to? With curiosity, with interest, so that I can have a giving attitude. So still you keep that attitude. So what karma means? Attitude, behavior, and action of daily living. In that daily living, you start thinking mentally that I have to give today. I have to give 1 unit of peace, 1 unit of happiness without any expectation. So that, that the yoga means that state, mental state, clarity about receiving and giving, and karma means action. What happens then? You always purify the mind, and when you start, when you are on the verge of purifying the mind, we start living in peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Where goes the anxiety, stress, and struggle and suffering? They dissolve because the ignorance is gone. Understand it clearly. Means Karma is action. Action means I think mentally, nobody knows. I think good of a person, I think bad of a person. When I think good of a person and then I add the peace and happiness, I become a giving nature. When I think bad about someone, bad because of the likes and dislikes. Why it happened? Because I remember from the past that I did not receive what I expected from that person. The mind is already sad now, and now that guy comes to you. Now your attitude is more internally, even if you don't express it. Your attitude is, I would say, our attitude becomes more erratic, more anxious, reactive. A sense of expectation constantly drives me to think negatively. And now you have a giving attitude. So your giving attitude, you do not want to give sadness, but you want to give peace and happiness. What happens? You get awakened. Your mind is purified. Your mind is purified. Understand, my friend, karma yoga. We are already done a couple of sessions on the step number 2 out of the 40 steps. That is what the karma yoga is. So now what happens when we change the attitude from receiving with likes and dislikes, instead we follow giving with peace and happiness, we are not affected by the world, people, relations outside. But there is something more happens in our life. So what happens in karma yoga at the physical level? You wake up in the morning and you go for a practice. You listen, you understand those principles. Your mind is ready to move into that day in peace and calmness, because your mind is not thinking of expectation. You are already in a giving mode. On the other hand, it comes by regular practice, listening and learning, that helps to remove the impurity of the mind. Okay, now I have done 1 hour of the practice. I have done last week also the practice, but my mind returns again to the same anxiety, duality, conflict, erratic nature. I know it happens to everyone. It happened to me also. So then what happens in karma yoga? If I apply the karma yoga at the emotional level, how to apply it at the emotional level? It simply means that I start thinking with a feeling. When you have done the practice, yes. Just after the practice, you should be ready. Just think, today I am ready to give peace, happiness, love, and wisdom to each and every one, the way you take care of the pets. Because it is always a giving nature. You are not in a receiving nature. But still you receive their love, their response. Even when you don't expect, you receive. Why? Because you are giving love, peace, care, and happiness to them. Is it not a fact? Watch it closely when you are taking care of all your different pets. So you are giving, you have a giving nature to the pets, and you don't have a giving nature to the people and relations, etc. It is only because of the expectation. So I have to think consciously with a feeling. My daughter is coming, my son is coming, my anyone or whosoever. Oh, let me give peace and find out in what way I can share his concern or her concern. Your mind is not in the mood of receiving. That is what I'm saying. Whatever the work that you are doing at your workplace, in your home, in your relations, keep on doing it, but internally, emotionally, you have changed the mind from the receiving to a giving mode. Are you getting it? How? By thinking, mentally thinking. I'm sitting in front of you, so just start thinking about me. Did you think that with emotion, let me give out of the peace and happiness to this weird guy? Your mind will change. You will never be able to recall your anxiety and reaction. So what we are understanding how the karma yoga, when it is applied in daily life, changes. The first is definitely you are listening, learning, and doing contemplation and reflection and practice. The second is at the emotional level, where you turn your emotions to a giving mode, not a receiving mode. How? By thinking mentally. Are you clear? From today, from just now. Look at this weird guy and start thinking emotionally in a giving mode, not a receiving mode. Because the reward will surely come if you are in a giving mode. Then third level comes at the intellectual level. Intellectual level means at the intellectual level we carry the impressions of strong likes and dislikes, pain and the pleasure, the sorrow and the joy, the reaction. We all remember, and it creates a kind of an intellectual fantasy. So we have to sit down. Last week with whom I was in anxiety, then the intellect continues to reflect what happened in that moment of anxiety. You will discover that the mind was constantly intensive receiving mode. Mind was thinking, why this guy is not listening to me, not appreciating, not doing what I like, why it is doing what I dislike. You get rid of it, because when you are thinking intellectually, this is the contemplation. Then what happens? The fourth level. I told you all these problems comes from the ignorance. The first ignorance creates an ego. Ego is I thought. I thought says I'm into anxiety. This guy did not give me what I expected. This situation did not send me the return what I was expecting. So they all come from the ego. So when you follow the physical, emotional, and the intellectual process in your mind, what happens to the ego? Ego does not have any standing now. It dissolves. What it dissolves? It dissolves into the existence. You become like a Jesus. You become like a Buddha. We are awakened. But in between there are a lot of steps. That's why I say the 40 steps to awakening. We should also understand how the world, entire world outside me, how the world outside knows me. Just think of that question. Does anyone care of the physical appearance? Maybe just for a minute. Oh, this is This belongs to you. I have a long beard, and I have a long beard or short beard or shave. Or you just simply see and you take it casually. Then what you care? What the word means to me? Or how the world knows me? By my thought, internal, that is expressed as a speech, results into an action. So the people knows me by the speech and action. Where is speech and action? It is my behavior and attitude. I'm talking to you and I have a big face. How you will receive? So my speech and action, is it full of energy? The thought expressed is right, not coming from the expectation, coming from the giving nature. That is what the behavior and attitude. What is behavior? My conduct, my performance, my action in a particular situation. Say, for example, with your daughter, your mind is already filled with lot of reaction against the daughter, and now the daughter knocks the door. What will happen to your behavior, speech, and action? And what will happen if you are in the mode of giving nature? That's a beauty. It's a very subtle point. So, how the world knows me. The world entirely knows me by my thought that I think inside my head, by speech and action. And the speech and action indicates behavior and attitude. Behavior is nothing but the conduct, performance, and action. And attitude? Attitude means an approach, an outlook, a mindset, a feeling, a manner in which I approach the world. Are you getting it? I gave an example. We thought, hey, your son knocks the door. So now I have to act. Well, I have to live in the world. Whether I say yes or no, it's a different thing. So how do I express? By speech and action. What is speech and action? Speech and action indicate a set of behavior and indirectly points to the attitude. So attitude inside the mind, behavior is expressed, that builds the relationship, that destroys the relationship, that causes the anxiety, that brings absence of anxiety. Are you getting it? So again, I am confirming that what exactly is the behavior? Behavior is the conduct, performance, action. Now look at my face. This is my conduct and I'm talking of peace and happiness, you will say, leave this guy, he is already having this problem, why I should continue to learn from this guy. Yeah, so that attitude has been expressed in the first in the face and then in my action. Oh, okay, now I was feeling sleepy, now you have knocked the door, anyhow you come. You already created a resistance. Why? It is based on the past impression. No, I did not understand. For example, someone knocks the door and you like him or her. Now you are feeling sleepy because you like him or her. You will invite him. Second person knocks the door, you dislike him or her. You are also feeling sleepy. So what will happen? Your attitude of disliking will be expressed in the behavior, and the action will cause the anxiety. Then you return and then you start thinking why I have refused him. Unnecessary. Did you understand? Receiving and giving. When your mode of the mind is a giving mode. Giving mode of what? The peace and happiness, love, truth, and the wisdom. At the physical, emotional, and the intellectual, I have already covered that. So what happens? You have no chance of anxiety, duality, problem, and a conflict in your life. Did you understand this point? How the world knows me. The world outside knows me because of my thought inside, expressed as a speech and action. And the speech and action indicate particular behavior and attitude. What is behavior? Behavior is conduct, performance, and action in a particular event. And what is the attitude? It is an approach inside. I approach you with the reaction. I approach you with the love and care. I approach you with the clarity and conviction, or I approach you with conflict and confusion. It's a mindset. I lose awareness when I approach the world with full of expectations. The mind is already confused. So I'm ready to invite anxiety, reaction, duality. So now see, what is the giving mode? Now we should resolve this. Ignorance. How I know the world? So the world outside I know consists of living and the non-living species. Are you clear? One set of the world is inert. Your house, your home, your TV, your phone, your computer, from where you are listening. Live, but it is a dead thing. And the second is the living species, which includes all your pets and human beings. So I told you, ignorance causes the ego, then the ego causes the non-thinking. Non-thinking creates likes and dislikes. Then you have a desire, reaction, anxiety, duality, conflict. That's serious. How I know the world? First, the two categories. One is the inert material kingdom, and other is the living species. Clear? Yes. Now, how you know the world? By knowledge, understanding, and experience. Clear? Yes. So I know the world by a set of, by knowledge, and that knowledge or understanding. Now that understanding has some past experiences, opinions, and judgment, and memories. Couple asked me that, I'm totally upset with my honey. And it has been 5 years. Oh, so it means you have been upset for the last 5 years. What is that which forces you to continue to live with that honey? Did you try to understand that? No, I did not try to understand. My mind is constantly blaming, complaining, and reacting against my honey. And what she does nothing. She takes care of me, and she is very helpful in all the affairs. But internally, I'm constantly, you are on the receiving. Your mind wants to receive based on your expectations, which she or he does not know. So I continue to live in the world in a mode of receiving mode. Neither you have expressed that thought, nor you are interested, but you are burning your mind within. That is the way I know the world. So I know the world because of the past experiences, the memories, the knowledge. That causes lot of challenges, because if the mind is constantly dictated, guided to work in the world based on the past experiences, memories, with the strong likes and dislikes, I'm always at the receiving mode. I should receive. I must receive the way I want everyone to behave. They should behave in that way. And that results in not meeting your expectation and causes anxiety and duality. I've been telling you, we are known by our action. Who knows your intention? You have a wonderful, beautiful intention, I know it. You want to love everyone, and you want to be loved. You want to take care of everyone. You have been taking care. Those who are in problem. No, but we are only, who knows my intention? We are known by our action, and the action has, expressed action has two elements, speech and action. Thoughts are deeper inside, at the mental and emotional level. Speech is verbal, subtle. And I told you, action, behavior and attitude. Action indicates behavior and attitude. Behavior is the way I act. If I start giving the lesson with sleepiness, laziness, you will also be lazy and sleepy. Have you seen any of these sessions was having any sense of laziness or sleepiness? Understand it. Because the moment you feel lazy or you feel a sense of protectiveness, what happens? The other people already judged it. Judged your behavior and attitude. The way you sense the behavior and attitude of others, so others also sense the same behavior and attitude. Do you say yes? So if I'm always in a giving mode, means my attitude inside the mind is giving, expressed in the form of a behavior. Nobody can give you anxiety, duality. It happens because of myself, because I'm constantly in a receiving mode. What the receiving mode says, oh, this guy has come, he should or she. You don't think, but it happens because of the mind. Do you agree? No, I don't agree. You may say so. So what happens? The guy has gone now. And now your mind starts thinking, at least he should have appreciated me. That thought comes later. Do you see that? You are talking to someone, and internally the mind is expecting non-verbally, because you are in a receiving mode. And you had a 1 hour of long conversation, he or she left. Then your mind started thinking, that guy was bragging about himself. He's constantly talking, or she's constantly talking about himself. At least he should have appreciated me. That thought comes later, because in the receiving mode, it is a kind of a frenzy. We become intoxicated, as if we have taken 5 packs of a hard drink. And when you come to your senses alone, ah, I'm into great anxiety. That karma yoga, that practice of bringing about a giving mood in the front to change the behavior and attitude, to drop the anxiety and duality, does not happen whether we are rich or poor. It doesn't matter. Fool or genius, doesn't matter. American or Indian, doesn't matter. Young or old, doesn't matter. Parents or children, doesn't matter. What matters is my giving mood that changes my inner attitude expressed in behavior. And I have given you the 4 tips: physical, emotional, intellectual. You find your ego has dissolved completely. When the ego is dissolved, forget about anxiety, duality, and a conflict. Not only it changes our life, not only it changes our life completely, I tell you frankly, not only it changes our life completely, but it removes the mental immaturity, emotional dependence. That practice helps you dig deep inside your mind. You start from just now, from today, and you will see the change. I can bet you. It minimizes the impact of your emotional dependence, strong likes and dislikes, hatred and the love. It purifies the mind. You enter into a new level of awareness. It changes your attitude and behavior. That's what I have been repeating a couple of times. It helps you transcend the sorrow and the suffering. Because of receiving nature, supported by strong likes and dislikes, joy and the sorrow, hatred and the love, builds a strong ego that is ready to react, causes the anxiety, duality, conflict. And what you need to do, keep on doing the practice, keep on listening. But from today on now, you have changed your emotion from receiving emotion to giving emotion. From a giving intellect to a receiving intellect. So you are breaking that gap, breaking the connection of our impulses, instinctive mind, emotionally dependent mind. You are breaking that connection. When you break the connection, what happens? You are in a giving mode. Karma yoga removes the cause of the problem in daily life. Another way to understand, another way, we should be very clear. We should have a pragmatic approach. I'm sitting in front of you, and your mind thinks in a giving mode of caring, of sharing, whosoever it is. Caring and sharing changes from person to person. It's a very pragmatic approach. Karma yoga removes the cause of the problems in your daily life. At least one thing is sure: the matter does not have any problem. Matter does not give me the anxiety reaction. And it means non-living things. Your house, your room, your TV, phone, etc., etc. Sometimes also Phone makes me upset. Why? It hangs up. It is the problem of a machine. But I take it personally. So that is why I'm always in a receiving mode, and that causes a lot of problems. Are you getting it? What this remote can do to me? Nothing. It is inert. It does not know itself. It does not know me. So it cannot take any action. But still I am upset with the remote. I am upset with the phone. I am upset. Unnecessary. Why? Receiving mode. Expectations. Why you are in a giving mode, so it does not work. So now you approach this remote with a calmness. Oh, let me check the battery. It is working or not. Now it has started working. You have resolved the problem. In calmness, you have many options. Your behavior and attitude, even towards the non-living being, should be peace and happiness, joy. And then attitude and behavior towards the non-living and towards the living being. And you have been taking care of these pets. You love these pets. That is the real love. That is not an attachment. That loving is giving mode. So even if they do not respond, you feel their responses are giving you peace and the calmness. So if I'm doing with the pet, why can't do it with others? Solution is the karma yoga. Karma, action, behavior, and action. Behavior is a performance, the way I act, combined with body and the mind, and the mind. And attitude is the mental attitude of giving. Giving nature. So simple a solution. So easy it is to understand. Challenging to implement because of my mindset. You start performing with changed attitude of a giving mode, and you will see that it works. We cannot see what is behind the action. The root of our action has two options. The root of the action, it can be done out of ignorance dictated by the ego. Ego is supported by the desire. Desire has an expectation. Expectation puts my mind into the receiving mode, and when I am in the receiving mode, the whole day passes. So now we have changed that pattern of ignorance by thinking, emotional level, understanding, intellectual level, and then what happens? We discover where this ego is not there. It dissolves into the entire existence. Someday you have to endure. Someday you have to appreciate. Someday you have to take care. Someday you have to withdraw. You do everything out of the giving mode, not out of the receiving mode. So then what happens? The life changes. After listening, you start doing and check every 24 hours. You start working with that attitude supported by the giving nature, and next day you check what has changed in you. It will bring your fatigue level down. You will remain fresh. Your mind will never become crazy. Why? I am in a giving mode, whosoever comes, I am ready to express myself in peace and happiness. I am not waiting for someone to give me anything. That is the secret of the karma yoga. Karma. Karma means action. Yoga means an attitude in the mind. You're doing the same activities outside. There is no difference. But what will happen? It changes your mental state. You prepare the mind to be strongly that never receives any anxiety, duality, and a conflict from the world and the situation. There is no chance. There is no chance. That is the beauty of the step number 2 out of the 40 steps. So what happens? It purifies the mind. You're always relaxed and calm. Can you say that I'm relaxed and anxious? Can you say I'm in deeper level of the peace and still reacting? Antidote. I touch briefly on how to change the mind to destroy anxiety, suffering from the life. It is one smaller understanding of the Karma Yoga, the smaller understanding of the step number 2. I will take up a little deeper into it once you respond to me after practice. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschid dukha bhag bhave. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let everyone be happy. Let everyone be in the state of well-being. Let everyone be blessed. Let none suffer from any misery in the world. What it means? Giving mode.